Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, UFC fighter, actor, newsbreaker. You went viral yesterday. What happened? so,
It was an
uh,
accident. It was okay. So, of course, everybody thinks that I must have had some inside scoop. What I meant to say was, I could definitely see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see that happening because there was beef between Leon and George Masvidal. So
so Dana's not texting you fights.
no, that was like super random. Like, why would I be the only one to know about this? I don't know. But what happened was I was asked about the fight, and I said, well, I could see Usman hurting, having surgery on his hand, not being able to make it, and George Masvidal feeling in because those two had beef in London last time. George ended up hitting him with that 3-piece in a soda, and so I said I could see that happening, but I didn't. That's what I meant to say, but of course it got all blown out of text and context and went viral.
Did you get texts like people are like, "What are you talking about?" Did people
No,
hit
no, no,
you
not at
up?
all. Not at all, man. I mean, just social media outlets posting it up, but nobody like in the higher ups, no Dana's, no management, whatever.
All
It
right,
was fun.
we got that out of the way. So your last fight with Kevin Holland, you broke your hand, right?
I
How's your
did,
hand?
as a matter of fact, I'm at the hand center right now, just sitting outside. I go see them today just to kind of see what the damage is. They told me it was just the first and second metacarpal that I broke. I don't remember when I broke it though. All I remember is pulling my glove off and I flexed my hand and I was like, "Ooh, that doesn't feel right." So I knew it was broken.
So you didn't even notice it during the fight at all?
No, not at all, man. I guess that yeah, adrenaline was going, and I broke my hands when I fought Vicente Luque like 3 years ago, and they said after a break you're prone to do it again. So I got to get back into conditioning my hands and getting those bad boys ready to rock and roll for the next fight. But I'm on a 6 month suspension right now because of the break, so hopefully we'll get this hand healed up in no time, and we'll be back sooner than that.
All right, so you did fight Kevin Holland. You guys had, a friendly competition. You guys were friendly before the fight. The fans seem to be receptive to that kind of friendliness between you guys. Do you think that that's kind of that fight shows that you don't always have to be arguing and yelling at each other? It could be friendly competition. You guys, I mean, you guys duked it out in the cage, but before the fight, it was, people really like the friendly stuff.
Yeah, man. People were saying it was like a breath of fresh air. You get to the point, and Conor McGregor was so good at it, and kind of brought that trash talk in the mainstream. And next thing you know, everybody's doing it. And when you get everybody doing it, it's kind of fresh to see somebody with just respect and friendship and just going out there and taking care of business. I mean, I spar with guys every day, my buddies, and we get after it as well. So I'm kind of used to that. I never have any ill will against any of my opponents at all. And if they do talk trash, I know what they're trying to do. They're just trying to hype the fight up or try to get under my skin. And I just eat them up with niceness. But it was good to have somebody that's, as respectful and fun fight like Kevin Holland because it made it fun, man. It made it fun and allowed people to realize that you can go out there and smile and still duke it out.
All right, Jack Black, he couldn't make it to the fight in Orlando, but he did do a live stream, and then he got to FaceTime you. How was that experience?
Man, super cool. It was the Gilbert Burns fight is how we actually met. He had posted something up on social media like, oh man, this Wonderboy guy walking out to our song, Tenacious D, Wonderboy. And then I was at International Fight Week and there was a camera guy there filming for the UFC. And he's like, Wonderboy, Jack Black wants to talk to you. This guy also films for Jack Black. So I got him on FaceTime and we chatted. And he invited me and my brother out to one of his concerts in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is not too far from us. And we got to hang out with Jack Black and Kyle Gass literally all day. We went out on stage with him while he sang Wonder Boy, my walkout song, and we got to hang out after. It was definitely an epic moment. And the dude is like he is in the movies, man. He's so cool. He's like the real life Kung Fu Panda. And so yeah, man, we just hit it off, man.
Awesome. So you got Kevin Holland. You have, I mean, you have your break. You have to wait for a little bit. But what do you said you did want to have a striker to fight next, right? You wanted to prefer a striker, but what do you want next now after the Kevin Holland fight?
To be honest with you, anybody. I'm still looking for the goal. The belt is always at the top of the list for sure. So I mean, anybody. I know after this last fight, everybody was so impressed and how action packed the fight was. I mean, people were talking about it being fight of the year. They want to see me fight another striker, but I'm still looking for the gold. So whoever the UFC puts in front of me, I'm ready for. There was a few guys that were thrown at me. Obviously, number one, it was Conor McGregor. I mean, who wouldn't take that fight? I mean, who wouldn't fight that dude? Um, Obviously, Jorge Masvidal, and of course, Michelle Pajeda, who's working his way up the rankings as well, who's a striker. But, you know, obviously, I've been working on my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu and still getting better with it every day. And, taking this time off, this is perfect time for me to continue to work on that and get better, because at this level, I can't just rely on my striking. I mean, obviously, my last fight, I could, because I knew the fight was going to stay standing. Kevin Holland's not a heavy wrestler. He's more of a defensive grappler. So I didn't really have to worry about the shots until later on. And I didn't have to worry about it then because he was exhausted. So, still getting better at it every day. And I know that I'll be facing some heavy grapplers in the future. So whoever the fight, the UFC wants me to fight, that's who I'm fighting. But the gold, the title is still on my mind.
All right. I didn't want to get your thoughts. UFC, there's some judging controversy this weekend. UFC 282, the title fight, Ankalaev versus John Bohovic, 5-round draw. It was the fifth draw between a title fight, and you were actually involved in one of those five with Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
What's that feeling like when you're going 5-round war and then they tell you, oh, it's a draw?
Man, I think, what could I have done more of to win this fight? You know what I'm saying? You go out there and you give it your all. You both are putting it on the line, and then it becomes a draw. It's like, hey, if I would have just done this just a little bit more, I could have come out with the win. It's frustrating. It really is. And now they're talking about giving the title shot to Glover and somebody else. There's nothing that you can really do about it except for just to move forward. And next time you go out there, is put on a show. But when you go out there and you do give it all you got, and it's still a draw, it's disappointing, man. Like, you're so close to the title, but yet you don't have it. It's not in your hand. You can't have it around your waist. And yeah, man, I feel their pain, man. I feel their pain. I was so close to winning the fight, and I know Blachowicz and his opponent was the same, but came out with the draw, man. All you can do is just keep moving forward, and to get better, not let that happen again. But yeah, I feel for those guys.
The other fight was another controversial decision, Paddy Pimblett, Jared Gordon. How did you see it going? It was kind of a weird fight. Some of the judging was all over the place. What did you think of that, the decision?
Yeah, man, I didn't see it. I didn't see how Paddy won that fight. I mean, his opponent had way more control time. The exchanges, I thought he got the best of the exchanges. He was closing the gap, getting on the inside of Paddy's reach. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just one of those things, man. When you're at that level, it's very difficult. I don't see how the judges do it. I would hate to be a judge, to be honest with you, for some of these fights and how close they are. But everybody thought his opponent won. Then nobody thought Paddy won it. But, it's good for, that Paddy is so popular right now, because if he wasn't, I think he would have lost the fight. I mean, he's so backed by the UFC and Barstool. I think that's who manages them. And leading up to this fight, I saw nothing of the title fight. It was all about Paddy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the UFC is really pushing this guy, and he came out with a W. I mean, what can you say? I think he should have done. He could have done a little bit more to win it, but it's already happened.
All right. During your Kevin Holland fight, people were impressed with your cardio. You lasted 4 rounds. You were up and down, and now you're gonna teach people, right? How to. You were fight camp. You're gonna teach people. You have like a 4-hour training camp, right? Or can you explain what you're doing with fight camp?
It's actually really cool, man. My cardio was great, and I started this camp literally in California with Fight Camp, man. And Fight Camp, it's a connected at-home boxing gym built and tested by world-class fighters with, real-life boxing experience. So, the workouts combine like boxing and body weight exercise designed to give you like a hyper efficient full body workout. It's awesome. And on an app, man, you can do this at home and you're being trained by world-class fighters such as myself and others. I had a great time up there. And like I said, I literally started this Fight Camp for my last fight with Fight Camp. And it's freaking awesome. I don't see how you guys how people don't download this app and get started now. Fight Camp also has, um, performance tracking technology, so users can see their progress and improve their skills, like over time. So that's innovative. That's new. Not a whole lot of people, can get this from, an app such as Fight Camp. It's amazing.